numbers coming, and we are just glad that you could trust us with your time. So we prepare ourselves quite well to prepare and really be of a blessing to you and to everyone out there. And I hope that we are doing that. We always encourage that we will hear from you and know what you think about our show, how you feel, if you were blessed, if you actually have anything blessing, or you have a question or something that you would like us to know. Our email just scrolls down at the bottom banner, and I'm sure that you can communicate with us and share with us your thoughts. Really appreciate it. So tonight again we are back. Yesterday we began a show, and the show was on educate. We started on Monday. The show was educate thyself. Educate thyself. So right there it is. So we been talking about how important it is to educate yourself, and yesterday I gave in some really, really personal examples, of how I ended up, learning some things that I never knew I could do that really made life easier for me. Even though it was on a small scale, but then on a larger scale, actually, there are a lot to learn. There is a lot to learn. And as I said earlier, right from time, man has been developing, and a lot of technology and progress was made by man, even without formal education. Without formal education, and I explained, probably I should say that again, that formal education and informal education are just opposites, in the sense that formal education is the normal education that is done in a controlled environment, like school or training centers, where either the government or a private organization organizes teachings, and a group of people come together and they are taught a particular line of discipline. That's formal education. Could be preschool, could be basic school or primary school in many other countries, or it could be high school, middle school, whatever it is that you call it. And universities, of course, and colleges of education, polytechnics, and all the other higher institutions. So basically, that's formal education. Informal education is education that is learned without being in a controlled environment. It's incredible that when the United States fought their first war, which was the War of Independence, or Revolutionary War, which they fought against England and defeated England with the help of France at the end of the day. That war, the United States didn't have an army. Just it was a collection of militias, and people that came. They basically didn't have, military training, which could be seen as a formal kind of training, but they had organized. They organized themselves, and the people were encouraged to fight, and they won the war. So you can see that people can actually do a lot of things. In fact, most universities were started by people. All the universities were started by people who didn't go to university themselves. Isn't that funny? So it is absolutely important to understand that. Yesterday also I laid the ground to say that education begins once you are born. A child is born and he begins to learn his mother. He learns, the first thing is he learns to suck that breast, take breast milk on his own. First of all, the mother, of course, most times the mother puts the nipple in his mouth, and then he begins to suck without any training, teaching. Nobody tells him, hey, baby, you got to suck so the milk can come out. No, he just learns it. It's incredible how it happens. And then the child begins to learn the mother and study the mother, bond with her. He knows the color of her eyes. He knows how her face looks. He begins to hear her voice and discern her voice. It's incredible. Education starts just like that. And all through, the child keeps learning, learns to sit, learns to eat, learns to walk, learns to run, learns to, play with toys, learn everything. He keeps learning. But he's not in school, but he's learning. Why? Because in man is the ability to learn. You don't have to be in a school to learn. So education is really absolutely important, but it doesn't have to be a formal education. In fact, what you learn for yourself, personal education is even more effective and more powerful than formal education. And we're going to look at that, and we're going to look at and in fact, if you go to school, whatever school you go to, whatever level of education you go to, you must still do your own private education, learning on your own. Otherwise, you graduate from the college, you get a nice car, but you don't know how to fix the tire. You don't know how to pump the tire, you don't know how to change the water or fill in the water, you don't know how to change engine oil. You are an illiterate, even though you have a degree in science or whatever it is. So self-education is something that you cannot do without, you cannot do without. So we're going to watch a video right away, which is going to lay the foundation for us for tonight. This is a PragerU video. I believe that it will really be a great blessing to you. 5 minutes. Let's go.
Maybe the dumbest thing you can do is go to the place that's supposed to make you smart. That would be college. Now, perhaps I'm biased. I don't have a college degree, although I employ a lot of people who do, and from some of the most prestigious universities in the country. I made a conscious choice. I had clear career ambitions, and I didn't see how a college degree was going to get me there. In retrospect, I'm confident I made the right decision. I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of a company called The Daily Wire. We publish news and commentary from a conservative point of view. We have well over 100 employees and an audience which numbers in the millions every single day. Now, I don't have a problem if you go to college. It's a free country, do what you want. But the idea that somehow college is the great pathway to success and fulfillment, that I don't buy. The left takes a different view. They are obsessed with higher education. To them, it's a human right, and they want it to be free, which just means paid for by people like me, for anyone who's 18 and can breathe. That makes perfect sense from their point of view. One, the idea is a big winner among young people, a critical voting bloc. Who doesn't want something for nothing, especially something that costs more than a Ferrari? And two, colleges exist to do one thing, create conformity of thought. And since college professors and administrators overwhelmingly lean left, it's a pretty good bet most of their students will as well. But I'm being unfair, you say. After all, we live in a knowledge-based world. And America isn't making the grade. Don't you know we rank 13th in the world in reading, 18th in science literacy, and a pitiful 37th in math? To which I say, so what? It wasn't Singapore that split the atom, or Estonia that mapped the human genome. America is #1 in Nobel Prizes awarded, #1 in scientific citations issued, #1 in popular entertainment, and #1 in technological advancement. In short, America creates almost everything. Even what other countries manufacture was probably invented by an American, which is why we're also the #1 economy in the world by far. And who made this possible? Well, here are the names of just a few of the individuals who pretty much invented the modern world. Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, Michael Dell, and Larry Ellison. None of them has a college degree. Many of the CEOs who run the companies they created do have college degrees, but the founders do not. What they do have are things colleges can't teach you: curiosity, ambition, and a willingness to fail. Those qualities almost guarantee success. A college diploma doesn't. Want to build an airplane? Engineers educated in aerodynamics are handy to have on your team. Want to invent the airplane? Well, you're better off finding a couple of restless bicycle repairmen. That's what the Wright brothers were. It's not that colleges aren't teaching. It's that too often they're teaching the wrong things, or they're teaching the right things the wrong way. Tech entrepreneur David Gelernter says, "The thing I don't look for in a developer is a degree in computer science." Quite a statement from a man who teaches computer science at Yale. Tech billionaire and co-founder of PayPal, Peter Thiel, actually pays people not to go to college. Thiel and Gelernter understand that colleges are factories, and like all factories, they want to produce a consistent product. That means producing people who all think alike. But innovation and entrepreneurship require people who think differently. Innovators innovate. Colleges teach those innovations after the fact. If professors could have taught engineers how to build the airplane in 1903, professors would have built the airplane before 1903. They would have invented the personal computer, Microsoft, and social media too. And it's not only big tech where this applies. 56% of all small business owners in the United States don't have a 4-year degree. That's right, the majority of small business owners, who employ more than half of American workers, either never went to or never finished college. What all of this says to me is that while college is useful for some people, it's by no means necessary for all. And it's hardly essential for economic success, not for the individual and not for the nation. No one is being deprived of the opportunity to succeed simply because they can't afford a university's steep price tag. In fact, if you go to college, there's a good chance you'll be taught how not to succeed. If I were you, I'd think long and hard before paying for that. I'm Jeremy Boring for Prager University. Thank you for watching this video. To keep PragerU videos free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation.
Welcome back. What better example do you need anymore for someone to prove the point that just going to college is not enough? Formal education is not enough. In fact, informal education can really put you through. A lot of companies, lots of companies are doing very, very much, and they are employing people who went to college, but they were founded by people who never went to college. That's really incredible. That's something to really think about. We'll come back on this after this break. Please don't go away.
David McQuell on
Global
Impact at TC. Oh my word! On Global Impact at CTCN with David McQuell on Global Impact TECNTV.com.
Yeah.
And with David McQuell on Global Impact at TECNTV.com.
TECNTV.com.
Hello everyone, this is Global Impact with David McQuell, your host. Isaiah chapter 2 verses 1 to 5 says that a time is coming when the church will rise in authority and influence and dominate the earth. And many nations will come and say, teach us the ways of the Lord. Global Impact is a show that inspires you as a Christian to rise up through the values of the kingdom of God and shine as light wherever you may be. We believe that missions is no longer limited to some isolated, unreached community in some dark continent. The church should reach out to all aspects of life, including politics, business, science and research, the media and diplomacy, and every aspect of human life. Join us on Global Impact, Monday through Friday. Global Impact is broadcast on TECNTV.com. Join us.
Welcome back. Welcome back. This is really great. Thank you so very much for being there for us today. As we were saying, talking about self-education, at some time, if not all the time, you must really take time to educate yourself rather than depend on going to school. Going to school is good. Learn whatever you want to learn. But you see, for example, when I went to high school, everything I learned in school, I can't even remember most of it. I did accountants and business studies, and I'm not using it. I went to the Polytechnic to do my diploma, and I did community development. Of course, if not because I'm a missionary, I would probably not use what I learned. But it comes in handy how I relate with people and relate with the community as I preach the gospel of Christ to them. It comes in handy. However, many people have studied things in school that they are not using. If education was a ticket, biggest ticket to go to make it in life, then all the professors in the university would have been the richest person, all of them, because they are super smart, they are intelligent, and they are great. So from the PragerU video that we watched, we saw clearly the fact that this guy himself, Jeremy Boring, the co-founder and co-CEO of the Daily Wire, didn't go to college. I think it was really a very good example with people like Bill Gates, people that built the story. Some of the people that built the modern America, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, lots of other people, who are great wealthy people, who are people today who are influencing lives. And yet these people don't have any university degree. They don't have any, they don't have any university degree. They don't have any, they don't have university degrees. They didn't go to college, and yet they're employing the best brains. They're employing those who went to school and did so well, But how did they do it? And how come those who went to the universities, those who are working for them, are not able to get any? They are not able to, to get to succeed like these people, and also employ people who will employ people who will eventually, who will also be as powerful as these people are, Isn't it really incredible, Isn't it really incredible that that happens? That someone who didn't go to college, someone who didn't sit through lecture classes, spend so much money to learn. How comes these people did not succeed like these people who didn't go to school? How come these people who didn't go to college, how come they succeed very well? They do better. They even need the services of those who went to college and got out with first-class degrees and so on and so forth. Why is it so? Why is it so? It's because because there is something that these people learned. There were a lot of things they did. They were self-taught. They learned on their own. They pushed themselves. They chose between what they want to learn, and what they need, instead of just learning everything. It's incredible. That's really a big lesson there, And so, in that way, it helps you, and he mentioned three things that were really, really so brilliant about the difference between those people who didn't go to college and those people who graduated from college. He said those people who are big-time success, who never went to college, he said they have three things. One is curiosity. Number two is ambition. And number three is the willingness to fail. And I tell you, most of the times you go to university, you go to different schools, and they teach you how not to fail, how to be afraid of failing. However, those who really, those who really make it, they take their time. They go through a lot, a lot of effort, a lot of hard work, and in the process they become curious. Basically they are driven by their curiosity. How can I do this? How can this be done? When you begin to ask those questions and you begin to pursue those questions, you begin to want to know why, you begin to know how, It's incredible. That's how it turns out to become for you a great key to success, a great key to success, and that is the first thing that they have to their own advantage. They were curious, not just curious, but they were ambitious. They wanted to attain something, and they knew that it was difficult, probably impossible. Yet, they were ambitious enough. They were ambitious. They couldn't. Many of them, day and night, that's all they could dream. They didn't have money in their pockets, but they could imagine something big coming forth. And they kept pursuing their ambition, driven by their curiosity. They were curious. They wanted to know. They wanted to understand. They wanted to see how things are going. And as they were pursuing those dreams and ambitions, You know, the curiosity was driving them on, and you know, with setbacks, with progress, with setbacks in between, a sandwich of progress and setback, they kept pushing on. They kept pushing on, and they come to the place where many times they thought they were not going to make it. You know, it's the third thing he talked about is a willingness to fail, a willingness to fail. You know, they knew they may fail. They were not sure if they would succeed. They knew they may fail, but they were willing. If in their curiosity and their ambition they failed, no problem. They can always start. They can always restart something. They can always, you know, go elsewhere and get some things done. But they were not going to be deterred. They were not going to just sit and just, you know, never pursue the thing that is driving them in their hearts. And I really love that. I really love that. You know, it's incredible. So curiosity, ambition, and the willingness to fail. Now the question is, how curious are you? How curious are you? And what's your curiosity driving you to? What do you think? You know, it's kind of a wild dream, something that you could attain, something that you can achieve, something that's beyond your grasp. I mean, when you are curious, what if someone can do this? What if someone can do this? What if someone can do this? Bill Gates was not the first person to make softwares. There were computers long before Bill Gates. The military had a huge, you know, I saw the photos of the first computer. It's probably bigger than this place. You know, it was huge. It was mighty military computer. You won't even actually need a little ladder to climb up there if you have to fix something. But he began to envision, why can't we make the computer so small that it becomes personal computer? That's where PC came from, personal computer. And the curiosity kept driving on. The curiosity kept driving on. In 2020, I was in Seattle, and we drove to the campus, to the Microsoft campus. I was taken to the Microsoft campus, and it was incredible. Looking at the campus, it's a city of its own. It's a city of its own, you know. And when we were leaving, I was like, wow. So you mean that you mean that it is a single dream, a simple dream that brought about this whole massive business, massive city, you know. And I was told that they have the largest parking lot in the world, an underground parking lot that seats 6,500 cars. Wow, it's incredible, you know. So that's really massive, you know. And I was really, really impressed and really speechless, actually, you know. And so that's what curiosity can do. That's what ambition can do. That's what the willingness to fail can do. And again, you know, we are Christians. So you can imagine that, I don't believe Bill Gates is a Christian. He has said it, he's not a Christian. But can you imagine what the man is able to achieve without prayer, without seeking God, without blessing of God? I mean, literally, God blessing him and saying, I bless you, you know, without reading the Bible and applying it. And we have better tools. We even have better tools, you know. If we can just be a bit curious. I would like to replace ambition. Ambition is still good, but I would like to replace it with passion. If you have curiosity and you have passion and you are willing to fail on your path to success, that will be much, much incredible. That will be awesome. It will be awesome. It will be great if you can come to that place where you can, you know, really have a great success and succeed. Then you must be willing, you must be ready, you must be willing to put on your strength, put on your energy, put on grace, and fight, you know. And how do you fight? First of all, by being curious. What if I become a blessing? Start with questions like this. What if I become a blessing to the world? What if I did something that lives will be changed, transformed? What if I did something that me, myself, I'll be liberated from want and need? What if I could do something that could create hundreds of thousands of jobs, or even, let's even say 1,000 jobs? What if I could provide something that has not been there? What if I can do something, instead of just copying what somebody is doing, just look deep down inside of you. God's creature with great dignity and with great ability, you can actually do amazing stuff, I tell you. I love Psalm 8, and I always quote it here on this show. He says, God has made us. David said, "Oh Lord my God, how majestic is your name in the earth." He said, when I look at the majesty of all your creation, I'm just paraphrasing. He said, when I feel the sun, the moon, and the stars, and the wonderful works of your hand. And I ask myself a question: what is man that you are mindful of him? The Son of Man that you honor him. And then he said, you have crowned him with glory and honor. So God has you. First of all, he said, you made him a little lower than God. And then he said, you crown him with glory and honor. So we are made a little lower than God in his image and his likeness, and we are crowned with glory and honor. So listen, look at it. You have great human dignity, and then much more than that, you have a great child of God dignity. You can actually do great things. Great things. If you just put the right things in the right place, you can do amazing things. I'll be back after this break. Please hang in there.
Hi, I'm Pastor Greg, host of the Chosen Generation radio show, heard on the Truth Broadcasting Network and seen on TECNTV.com Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern, where I discuss today's most important issues through a biblical constitutional lens. TECNTV.com appreciates our partnership with NTD, and we'd love for you to give our great programming a view. That's TECNTV.com, Chosen Generation Radio with Pastor Greg. God bless you, and God bless America.
Everything that's reported on television isn't always true, but it should be. NTD, the power of truth. Now available 24/7 on television and streaming platforms.
All right, welcome back to the show. I'm David McQuell again. You are watching TECNTV.com, and this is Global Impact. I'm your host today, as usual. I hope that you are learning and you are getting blessed. We are talking about self-education. Educate thyself. In other words, don't just sit there. There are actually lots of things that you can do, incredible things that you can do, if you can just take the time and educate yourself. A lot of things are not difficult. Many years ago, I decided that I knew that I was going to be a writer. So I decided I wanted to learn how to type. I've been in the mission field for about 5 years, and then I was transferred back to Nigeria. And so back to Nigeria, and I kept desiring in my heart that I wanted to learn how to type. I'm a real professional typing. And I didn't want to just speak like people do. I wanted to be a professional typist. And Well, I went into, I began to look for the opportunities. And I got a book, a textbook on typing. And I began to study the book from page one, follow it step by step. And I'll put my fingers on the book and I will, be following, imitating. I didn't have the typewriter, the manual typewriter, the old school manual typewriter. I didn't have a computer. So, but on the book, I would just be feeling. I would just be trying. And then a few months later, I think about, I can't remember, but a few months later, I got to know a man, a senior who had retired from a bank. And I love talking with seniors, so I got close to him and we get to talk. So I told him I was going to visit him home because I wanted to hear his story, his youth, and how he went to work and all the experiences of life. There are always a lot to learn, if you talk with seniors. And so we had an appointment and I went to his house and we got to talk, and he had a lot to say. We couldn't finish in one day. But I remarked that there was on the table a manual typewriter, and it's been bare and dusty. They've not been using it. And I asked him, I said, Daddy, sir, who is it for? He said, oh, it's for the family, and nobody's using it. I said, oh, I really love to come here and be learning. I didn't even say, oh, can I take it home? I said, I would love to come here and learn to type. I want to be able to type. He said, oh, why not? Why not? Feel free. So I just get my papers, and the ribbon was there already. So I got my plain paper, A4 paper, and I would be going for classes. You wouldn't believe this. This is 2000, the year 2000. And I'll be going for classes, go and spend an hour there. I began to learn how to type, what do you call it, the QWERTY keys first. And then I went and I kept going on and kept going on. And, before I know it, I could actually type like a professional. Today, wherever I go and wherever there is a need for something, I just sit and I say, please, can I help? Sit on the computer and I just go on typing and reading and typing, and people are, wow, how did you learn that? Where did you learn that? I taught myself. Today, I write a lot. I write books. I write books. I translate books into French and write so many stuff, and I do it myself on the computer. I just sit and I type. I can type a letter so quick enough. I can copy a manuscript and type something, anything, so fast. I can even write, an inspired text, can just sit down and be thinking and typing, looking elsewhere. I can be talking with people and typing. It's incredible. Incredible. It became a big help to me. Right, so it is incredible. It's really great to be able to do that. If you do that, you will really, really be blessed. You'll be happy. I want us to watch another video, really incredible. I love this video. It's a TED Talk, I had to check it well to see if it goes on with our standard in TCN, and to see if there was nothing vulgar in it, and I hope that I got that right. So, but it's basically about self-education, a TED Talk, and it's really beautiful, truly. I really tell you, it's beautiful. And I'd like you to watch. Please, just watch, and I'll be right back after that.
Afternoon, everybody. Can I get a quick show of hands if anyone's learned anything new today? Good. I think you'll be able to embrace what I'm talking about. What I want to talk to you about is the concept of self-education or self-learning as a vehicle for continuous personal growth in all of our lives. I want to define self-education first as a combination of two terms, autodidactic and auto-experimentation. The beginnings of both of these words come from a Greek word, autos, which means oneself, self, or of one's own. Second word, didactic, also comes from Greek, the word didactos, which is the past participle of didaskein, which means to teach. Experimentation and its root experiment come from a French word, esperiment. Both of these things mean a trial or proof, but they're actually derived from a fun Latin word, experire. which all that means is to test or to try. So what I'm going to define for you today is the concept of self-education as the combination of self-teaching and self-trying. I'm going to try and do that by using 3 examples. They're examples of individuals who, with little or nearly zero formal education, embrace the idea of self-education, and they manage to not only improve their own situation in life, but actually change the world in doing so. I've given them somewhat parabolic titles. They are The Bookbinder's Apprentice and The Discovery of Electromagnetism, The Farm Boy and the Advent of Scientific Surgery, and The Preacher's Sons and the Dream of Human Flight. If you guys know who I'm talking about, just keep it to yourselves till the end. So starting off, the bookbinder's apprentice. He was born to a blacksmith and his wife. Both of his parents were uneducated, so there's no schooling going on in the home. But he was actually removed from school at the age of 7 when his teacher tried to cane his inability to properly pronounce R's out of him. He would never return to formal schooling. Despite this, he would develop a fascination with the physical world and the rules and laws and forces which govern it. At the age of 14, he would begin his apprenticeship as a bookbinder. His education would come from the books that passed through this shop on a daily basis. One book in particular, The Improvement of the Mind by Isaac Watts, and 3 rules from that book would change his life. Those rules are: learn by observation, constantly seek new information, and use precise language. Using those tools, combined with an industrious work ethic, acute attention to detail, and a meticulous note-taking habit, he would actually develop into one of our finest inventors and electrochemists in history. His name is Michael Faraday. You may be familiar with some of his inventions, but perhaps not all of them. So here's a short list: the Faraday cage for electromagnetic shielding, the molecule benzene, electromagnetic induction and rotation, the foundation of our generators and electric motors today, gas liquefaction, refrigeration, and that last one, electromagnetic wave property of light. He would develop these theories strictly through experimental observation. They wouldn't actually be mathematically proven until James Maxwell, near the end of Faraday's life, validated all of his theories. Our second topic is the 10th child born to a Scottish farm family. So he'd shirked school and books and preferred to live life out on the Scottish moors, learning from nature and the world around him. It wasn't until at the age of 21, when he had no prospect of taking over his father's farm, that he would move to London and he would become an apprentice to his brother in the anatomy school. His responsibility was preparing specimens and acquiring bodies for the classes. That last one is more commonly referred to as body snatching. Over 12 years and almost 2,000 dissections, he would acquire all the skills to make him one of the most prominent surgeons in all of the world. Probably more important, though, is the fact that he was most interested in the concept of disease and healing and how these processes could be better understood. In all the time that he spent training to become a surgeon, he would actually never complete a formal course of study. Regardless of that, he would go on to become known as the father of scientific surgery, Dr. John Hunter. The majority of his successes span everything from fetal development to circulation to aneurysms to tooth transplantation and tooth and gum disease. But the last ones, the ones he's possibly the most famous for, the healing of ruptured tendons and venereal disease. And the reason he's most famous for these is because he fully embraced the concept of self-experimentation. So I'll just let that sink in for a quick second. Additionally, he would collect over 13,000 human and animal specimens for his personal collection. That collection can still be viewed in London today. No individual before nor since has contributed an equal cumulative amount to the fields of biology, medicine, and dentistry. Our last topic, and probably the one you're most familiar with, are the 3rd and 5th sons of a Midwestern church minister. Now, he was a circuit minister, and due to the nature of their father's job, traditional schooling wasn't really an option when they were young. Though they would eventually go to school, none of them would graduate from school. They would never finish high school, but instead their parents, they would encourage them to take half days off and explore their own intellectual interests. So during this time, the brothers would they would design kites, little rubber band helicopters. They actually made a wood lathe completely from scrap parts, as well as a newspaper folding machine. So this industriousness led them to start their own companies. At the ages of 16 and 20, they started a printing business on a press that they built themselves from a collapsed tombstone. They'd eventually sell that business and move on to bicycle manufacturing and repair. They would use the funds from that company to finance their own inventions and their own experiments. You see, these brothers ever had the dream of human flight. They're known to all of you guys as Orville and Wilbur Wright, the Wright brothers. The system for aeronautical control that they developed for that first flight is still used today. The younger one would later go on to sit on the council, which would become NASA, and he would co-design the first self-guided missile as well as split flaps for bombers, exceeding both of their original successes. The common link between Faraday, Hunter, and Wright is that their self-learning developed out of necessity due to the limitation of available information. In the modern era, we don't have much excuse not to keep ourselves constantly informed. Through the internet, we can be exposed to 1,000 concepts in as many fields of study by an equal number of experts all before dinner. But this alone is not learning. The common thread between these individuals is not that they're diversely informed, it's that they experienced life and they learned from it. Their learning came from trying. In a moment, I'm going to play a small amount of mandolin for you guys. It's an instrument I taught myself through years of trying to play the mandolin. People will sometimes approach me and say, you know, I wish I could learn an instrument. Well, the answer is you can, but first you have to try. No amount of reading about the mandolin or watching famous mandolinists or studying music theory taught me to play the mandolin. Experire est descere. This means to try is to learn. As Abigail Adams observed, learning is not attended by chance. It must be sought with ardor and diligence. So I say, in order for you to learn something, you must live it. So read, download internet videos, go to lectures, absorb as much information as you can until you're bursting. Then go out into the world, determine what of that was real, what of it's true. Digest it, internalize it, make it your own. But then you have to turn around and you have to do something with it. You have to create, you have to invent, you have to imply it. This is how we learn. This is how mankind advances. If you're a parent, encourage the same of your children. As Eddie Rickenbacker observed of the Wright success, aviation is proof that given the will, we can do anything. But in order to do, we must first try. The list of names you see scrolling here are all individuals who, to some extent, were successes in the field because of their own self-education. The question I have is, what about you?
really beautiful. It's great to really enjoy that and to see these great examples laid out on the issue of self-education. I mean, you cannot argue with that, right? You just can't argue with that, So, well, I'll be right back after this break. We'll talk about that a little bit, yeah. Just have to talk about it. Dreams are potential seeds. They need someone to believe in them. They need someone to finance them. And they need someone to embrace them. Partner today with the World Mission Center, Abidjan, the Ivory Coast, and help us win Africa for Christ. Okay, so welcome back to Global Impact. This is amazing, right? That's a video I watched, and I watched again, and I watched again, and I think I'm going to watch again. It's like self-education. It is actually, it's another form of self-education. When you listen to these stories, there's some fire set within you, and you want to just get up and do something, and do something with your life, really get things going. Absolutely. So many people have made progress in life, but they made progress in life, but they made progress through personal effort, through hard work, and because of that hard work, because of that that hard work, that curiosity and the passion, the ambition, and the willingness to fail, they come out and turn their lives around and turn the whole community around. And most people, in fact, all people who began to do something and who began to do something and eventually turned their lives around, it doesn't end there, because they become so successful that their own dream becomes a fulfillment of the dreams of others, right? Becomes a fulfillment of the dreams of others, because whenever you achieve your dream, the dream explodes and becomes a great blessing, and so really, I really enjoy that, and I think that all of us have to come to the place where we really explore inside of us. But many times people don't have confidence in themselves, and they don't have confidence. Yesterday I was talking about when I went out to apply for a US visa. And I applied, filling the form was quite an experience, because I didn't even know of any agent around who does that, because in Africa you have to have agents who are filling the forms. Many people find agents, and I didn't have any agent who could do that. Even if I had the agent, I didn't have money to pay so that an agent will fill the form. So I just thought, hey, why don't I fill this form myself? And I had no idea what the form was about. It was really complicated, and I went ahead, and I filled the form. Then the interview came. The date was given to me, which was, I think, 23rd September 2019. I was going for the visa interview, but I took my time, like I said yesterday. I went online, looked for all the information that I could get, text and video, on visa interview. How does it look like? How is it done? What should I expect? What should I look forward to? From Keystone in South Dakota, they already advised me, told me things, how I should compose myself and my attitude, and how I should answer questions, They said to me that definitely there is no way they can assure me that I will get the visa, and that it basically depends on God, if God wants me to attend the program. And yeah, so that was, for me, so I already have this conviction that God was in it. So I went for the interview on the interview date. Before going, that's actually what I want to say. So I got these videos on visa interview for the U.S. Embassy. Many videos, online. And I enjoyed one that, there was one that actually was recorded of the visa interview in the U.S. Embassy in Pakistan. That one actually followed, the video, they were allowed to, probably, I don't know if the U.S. State Department that did it or they allowed somebody to do it, but they went into the embassy with the camera and, went through right to the interview decks, and then, of course, they didn't reveal the questions asked and whatever happened after that. But, the process was explained, and that was really quite great. But I found another one that, the videos also that explained what will the visa interviewer, the State Department staff, what will he be looking forward to, and they gave their own orders. I think those who are making this were lawyers, immigration lawyers, so they had an idea pretty much of what was going to be required. So they advise on what we should go about it, what we should look up to. And I followed them. To talk about how to be confident, talk about how to look straight to the eyes, don't give an air of suspicion, just be bold and confident and relaxed, and which I did. 3 minutes, I got my visa. I was really glad. I blessed God. In 3 minutes, I got the visa done. I was really, really excited. I just really blessed God. I'll be right back.
What happened to the church? To the living, powerful, transformative, nation-shaking Christianity?
What they're trying to do is completely demolish Western civilization and then to rebuild it in a just society.
How do you break down American Christianity?
I think the problem today in our culture is many of our words have been co-opted and stolen and dumbed down and reversed.
Social justice is sold as something that it isn't. Critical race theory is sold as something that it isn't.
Whiteness has caused blindness of heart. Whiteness has caused blindness of heart.
When you preach victimization, it always leads to vengeance and vice. Us against them, me against you. I want my pound of flesh.
American churches today are where the universities were 10 years ago. Pretty heavily Marxist. They're not quite there yet, but they're well on the way. Many of the seminaries and Bible colleges are definitely already there.
That message that they're going out and taking the world is not, you need to repent of your sin, receive Christ. Instead, the message that you actually have is they are under the weight of racism or sexism or homophobia, and then we need to unify them together.
I'm gay, I'm 29, I'm a youth pastor in New Jersey.
I'm straight, and I'm also a youth pastor in New Jersey.
We're planning on sharing life together for the rest of our lives, which we're not totally sure what that looks like. Obviously, Nick is straight, and he does plan on getting married. When he has a wife one day, she'll make those decisions with us.
The future damage of what we're doing now is just going to be enormous.
The entire fabric of family, personal wealth, private property, all those things are out the door. And everything is the state. They believe the state is God.
They don't define justice the same way as the scripture.
Oh no, it's going to be an equality, all right. And it's going to be a totalitarian Marxist justice.
Okay, so, just take time out this night or tomorrow and just go to www.Enemies Within the Church and check out that great documentary. It's sparking great revival across the United States and around the world. It's a great movie produced by my friend Jude. Tonight, we've come to the end of the show. Thank you so very much for being there for us, and thank you very much for joining us in the show. I hope that you were blessed, and tomorrow we'll be back with another powerful edition, and it will be great, you know. God bless you. Start thinking about yourself. Start thinking about what education you need to give yourself, and really bring something out of yourself. You are endowed, you are blessed, and you're crowned with glory and honor. God bless you. Keep watching TECN TV. We love you. Bye-bye.